Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The son of Celluloid, Nathan Hamilton here at Days of the Dead, Indianapolis, and I have the pleasure of sitting here with the lovely and talented Jill Terashita. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Now, you're here doing the Night of the Demons reunion. How did you get involved with that flick? Was it like a cold audition, or was the makers of the film familiar with your work, or what?
My agent at the time submitted me for the film, and I went in and auditioned, and the whole routine of getting called back, and then I got booked. Yeah.
Okay. Having worked in haunted houses and spent some time in coffins over the years, I can't imagine trying to shoot a sex scene in one. How difficult was it to try and, but just logistically, to try and do that scene?
Actually, they were pretty good. It was a closed set and everything. And then obviously, we had to wear our bottoms and stuff like that. Right. And they just kind of shot it in sections and just, covered you up when they weren't shooting and then uncovered.
Yeah, there you go. You've alluded in interviews before that some of the cast experienced some strange occurrences in the house. Maybe some spooky stuff going on. Would you like to elaborate on that a little bit?
Oh my gosh, there's a couple of things that actually happened. One, there was no electricity in the house, and a bunch of the restrooms were upstairs, up the creepy stairs.
Right.
So you tried to go before it got really, really dark.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I gotta go. So I went upstairs into one of the stalls, and I was in there by myself. There was nobody up there. All of a sudden, you hear this creaking door, like actually moving. Huh. And so I go, hello, is anybody out there? Nobody answers. And you still hear it creaking. I'm like, hello. I was like, oh my God, I'm getting out of here.
So in real life, the bathrooms in that place were not somewhere you wanted to be either.
No. And then, so I went downstairs and I asked everybody, I'm like, hey, were you guys upstairs in the bathroom? Right. Everybody was like, no. Okay, so that was one incident. Another incident was where I got my makeup done. On the wall, it was like white, painted white. Well, when I first got there was this little string with a tiny little baby cross hanging on a nail.
Interesting.
On the wall, but it was painted into the wall.
Huh. That's bizarre.
Yeah, and it was completely dry and everything. And I said to the makeup artist, I'm like, oh God, look at that's so weird, right? Okay.
That is weird.
Well, the next day, I look on the wall again. It's actually pulled off the wall, and there's no mark on the wall where it was painted onto. But it was
really,
yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Now,
she got completely creeped out.
I can imagine so. Now, at what point did you realize that the flick had such a cult following?
Actually, only a few years ago.
Really?
Yes, when I did my first ever convention in my life in New Jersey.
Okay.
I had no idea whatsoever. And then all of a sudden there was all these people, coming in asking me about, we were there for Night of the Demons. And then I had no idea that they even knew about my Sleepaway Camp Part 3.
Right.
So that was
that
was a total surprise to me.
Right.
So
there's another one that you didn't mention. I remember back in the day on TV seeing Terminal Entry, and I have never been able to find it since. Do you know if there's ever been any, interest in releasing that on DVD or anything? Because I've never seen a copy.
That was my very first starring movie. I
really?
think. Yeah.
Nice.
My very first movie.
Any remembrances of making that one?
Well, yeah, I drive motorcycles. So at that time I had a street motorcycle, and so I used to drive it to set. And they actually have it in the movie. I kind of ride it. Yeah.
I remember it.
Oh, you do?
It's been years since I've seen it, but I remember it.
Yeah.
They showed it on one of the USA Up All Night things at 2 a.m. They showed it one time years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I never ever. Actually, I've never seen it on TV or anything like that.
Yeah, that's
so.
the only time I ever have. Now, you mentioned, of course, Sleepaway Camp 3.
Yes.
Which all time my favorite of the series, to tell you the truth. Arab is a weird name for a juvenile delinquent. Was there a story behind that?
Yes, there is. Actually, all the characters are from the West Side Story.
Okay.
Is what Michael Simpson told me. Yes.
I never made that connection.
Mm-hmm.
That makes total sense.
Yeah, so there was like the good characters and the bad characters, and yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, what was I'm assuming you had to have a head cast made for the head.
Yeah, I had 2 head casts. 2 head casts in 1 year.
What was that experience like? I've done one a lot. I could handle it. A lot of people can't. How did you react to it?
Well, thank God I'm not too claustrophobic, but they had to, put my hair up all in a skinhead and everything like that, and then pour that gel and it had to be cold. Mm-hmm. And I think what we had to do was actually go inside a walk-in refrigerator and sit in there, and they just stick straws up your nose, and you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna suffocate to death. But yeah, I mean, it set relatively fast, so it wasn't too bad, but it was just getting this stuff on all over. I mean, I don't know what exactly they did because I was on, the opposite side, but yeah.
After those 2 movies, have you learned your lesson to stay away from chicks named Angela? Yeah, or not to be mean to girls named Angela. Exactly. That didn't work out well for you either time.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
Isn't that strange? Because I shot Night of the Demons earlier on that year, okay, and I got my neck broken. And then later on that year, I did Sleepaway Camp Part 3, and I got my head chopped off. Yeah. And then now you just made me realize that they're both Angela.
Angela's will mess your head up. I guess that's the way you say it.
Oh my gosh.
Now, on your IMDb, you have actually a couple of stunt credits. How did that come about?
Well, because of the fact that I used to ride a motorcycle and be pretty active, some of my friends in the industry, there wasn't that many Asian girls doing a lot of stunts at the time. And so I remember, I got booked on a Bud Light commercial. And one of my friends I had seen at the audition, called me up and said, hey, did you book it? I'm like, yeah, I booked it. And I go, did you book it? And he's like, yeah, stunts. And I'm like, what stunts? And he goes, you should do it. And I'm like, oh, okay. He goes, yeah, because you know how to do all these different things. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So it ended up, I think my first stunt job, let's see, what was my first stunt job? I think I know. I think it was for a TV show called Tequila and Benetti, and it was a takeoff of Turner and Hooch. And so it was a cop dog show. Okay. And I got attacked by a German Shepherd that was named Ike.
Not Angela?
No. Yeah. Named Ike, that was actually that German Shepherd had a TV series, Rin Tin Tin, in Canada previously, that specific dog. So that was actually a lot of fun. Cool. So that's how I think that all got started. Yeah.
Now, we haven't seen you in a movie in a minute. What have you been up to lately?
Well, I have a very strong love for animals and wildlife. Cool. So I've worked off and on in emergency room for animals and wildlife rehab. Okay. And I'm trying to get some writing done. I have a cartoon idea and things like that. Yeah.
Very cool.
Things. Yeah.
You got anything else you'd like to say to the viewers here to close us out?
Thanks for watching me, everybody. I mean, it's been a really big surprise, and I'm very flattered, and awesome. I don't know what else to
Well, thank you very much for talking to me, and stay right here on Son of Celluloid's YouTube channel for more interviews from Days of the Dead.
And he's great.